Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that clip on the stakeholders meeting session on security. And I hope you also learned a thing or two about how to stay at alert and curb the high rates of kidnapping during these festive periods. But welcome back. You're now on the Entrepreneur Spotlight. I'm Tanda Chimelu. And earlier this week, the federal government announced a 50% reduction in transportation costs along major interstate routes during the festive period. The spokesperson for the National Union of Road Transport Workers said the union would commence the implementation of the price subsidy on Thursday. Although he did not disclose how they plan to enforce the directives, the organized labor comprising the NLC and the TUC expressed disappointment with the development, labeling it as a show of confusion on the part of those in the government. Now, the National Deputy Chairman of the TUC, Tommy Etim, said, and I quote, "Why not simply announce a slash in the pump price of petrol, which has been responsible for the crisis Nigeria is in today?" End of quote. Members of the Union of Road Transport Workers in some states say they have yet to be briefed by their leaders, adding, however, that they would comply with any directive on the initiative from their national leaders. And on the spotlight today, we have the Executive Director, IDYL Initiative, Mr. Ovo Otarigho. Good morning. Welcome to the spotlight.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Now, first of all, before we dive into the matters arising, what do you think about this? Is it practical for the government to subsidize the cost of transportation instead of the actual root of the matter, which is the cost of petrol? And secondly, how implementable do you think this subsidy is going to be in terms of enforcement, bookkeeping, and actual remittances of these payments to the transportation companies? You know, earlier before we came on air, I asked you if you had any beneficiaries, if you knew of it or heard of any beneficiaries of this.
And the answer is
subsidy.
no.
And you said no, because apparently they are not implementing. They have given the directive, but they are not being implemented. So generally, what do you think about this new development?
First of all, I want to say the president or this administration has taken a right step. And this is why I'm saying this. Democracy responds to the needs of the people. At this time where the cost of transportation has gone up, and the government feels that it is important to step in to see how they can cushion the effect of this high price on the citizens, I think it's the right thing for them to step in. However, I will say that the approach ought to have been different. Governments can regulate. We are in a capitalist economy, right? Government still can put structures on ground to be sure that people don't take advantage of others. Now, why would you just put subsidy, 50% subsidy? And when you know that most of the reason why, one of the reasons why the price has gone up like this is price gouging. For example, from Abuja to Warri was around 25,000 a couple of weeks ago. Today is 50-something thousand naira. That is price gouging because it's festive season. So if you are subsidizing 50% of it, that means you are even encouraging people to raise prices
So by the time
arbitrarily.
you remove this subsidy, they are going back to the original
To the
prices,
original
which
price.
they have actually been
So
paying.
you have not really subsidized anything.
Right.
What I expected the government to do, another thing again is this. If the government wanted to step in to ameliorate the stress on people based on transportation, what they would have done again is create competition. There are alternate buses the government can engage and slash the price. So that competition will bring about a reduction in prices from the conventional transport companies who are gouging their prices. I think it's not proper actually to
And on the other hand,
reflect
these
those prices.
directives are not really being implemented, because it's one thing to say you're going to do something, and it's another thing to actually carry it out. Now, these transportation companies, they're already they're not really sure about carrying out all these things, because they don't want to be old, at the end of the day. So, anyways, let's let's come back to why we're here, right? So, IDYL initiative. Can you tell us about that? What does it stand for, and what is it all about?
Ideal initiative is called Impact Driven Young Leaders Initiative. It's an organization that champions youth development in Nigeria. Over the years, we've worked with thousands of young people. We see that, the young people are the majority in the country. And when there's any problem, the brunt of it is felt by the young people. So as Ideal Initiative, we felt that how can we create opportunities for young people? So we started having programs that provide skill set for young people, because when young people have skill sets, they become more relevant in the labor market. And that's one angle of our program. The second angle of our program is championing young people to be active citizens. We believe that if young people are active citizens, we can have a better democracy. Like I will always say, as part of the definition of democracy, is this government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. For us to understand, or for us to enjoy the dividends of democracy, the people has to be involved. And when young people are the majority, that means we need to encourage more young people to be part of the governance process. And this is part of what Ideal has been doing over the years.
That's very brilliant. To make the youth to be active citizens. It's one thing to be a citizen, and it's one thing to actually be actively, involved. So now, how do you foster a sense of belonging among the youth that you work with? How has the experience been in general ever since you started up till now?
Yeah, so the experience has been interesting in the sense that each time we work with young people, we see that there are a whole lot of innovative young people who sometimes do not have the opportunity to be guided. And when they have when they have the encounter with organizations like ours that will mentor them and shaping them, they become even more productive. For example, in just a couple of months ago, we concluded the Active Citizens Bootcamp for young leaders. In the course of the bootcamp, we provided young people with the knowledge required for them to up their game in the employment space, and to have knowledge on how to engage with institutions when it comes to issues within their communities, to be problem solvers within their communities. Now, in the course of the bootcamp, at the end of the day, all of them came up with an action plan. And this action plan contains novel ideas on how they can contribute towards improving their immediate community. And remember, when they improve their immediate community, our country becomes a better place to live in, And so overall, I would say that working with young people has been very, very interesting, because Nigeria has very talented young people.
So what are some of the challenges and the setbacks you've encountered during the course of this youth development program, and in what ways have you been able to handle them?
It's interesting because sometimes when we organize these programs, you would expect, there are times we have to collaborate with government institutions, and sometimes some of these government institutions are not willing or ready to have some of this collaboration. And as a non-for-profit organization, what we're doing is for the good of the society. So we would expect that when organizations like us calls for partnership with government institutions, they should be open towards it, because we're all working for the good of the country. Another challenge is that there are times you will come up with, grooming young people to be active citizens means that sometimes they have to ask some informed questions. They will have to hold government accountable. When we come with programs like that, you start, the next thing you hear from certain government institution will call you, who is funding you to to fight against the government, you know. But but
So they see it as a personal attack now.
yes,
Yes.
but it's not supposed to be so. You know, in a democracy, we're supposed to have there's freedom of speech, there's freedom of association, and all that. So, and when we are doing programs that
Freedom
are
of
not,
opposition as well.
yeah, when we are doing programs that are not breaking the law, we expect that government institutions should not
Should
look at.
encourage
Yes,
instead of fighting the program. So
exactly.
finally, sir, before I let you go, I hear you have a book on volunteering.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
So, in my years, so far in my years in working with young people, I realized that one challenge young people have is the fact that when they graduate from university, they can't get a job because they don't have the requisite experience needed by most of these organizations. So I look back and I said that volunteering changed my life. I started working professionally as a volunteer, and I climbed up the ladder and I became successful. So how can I give back to young people through my own knowledge? So I started promoting volunteerism. So what I do is I have a platform for young people, those in university and those who are yet to be in university, so that they start volunteering with organizations to build experience. For example, somebody who is studying accountancy would end up being an accountant in the future, right? Now, while still in a university, we create programs for them so that they can volunteer with accounting organizations.
So you link them up with these accounting organizations
Yes.
so they can actually volunteer and have an experience.
And by the time they finish, they've built 2 years experience, 3 years
Yeah,
experience, you know.
interesting.
So
and it kind of gives them an upper hand also in the labor market. So you have a
Exactly.
copy of the book here.
yes.
Yes,
And I'll be
interesting.
presenting this book to AIT.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much
Great.
for coming on the weekend show. We'll have to see more of you on subsequent episodes. Mr. Ovo Otarigho,
Thanks for having
Executive
me
Director
today.
of the Ideal Initiative. Thank you so much. Well, it's a wrap on the Entrepreneur Spotlight, but stay tuned. Up next is my girl I Should Be with the entertainment segment. Don't go anywhere.